Roger here from Lazy Better Guides. We're going to take a look at the final Kentucky Derby prep races in this series. Today we're going to look at the Florida Derby and its much heralded winner, Forte. See our record in picking Kentucky Derby winners. You can go to our website, lazybetterusa.com. We've posted our annual Kentucky Derby previews there. We've been doing them since 2014. While you're there, you can pick up a copy of the Lazy Bettor's Guide to the Kentucky Derby. The book that our predictions are based on has pace and final time parameters for prep race contestants to see how they stack up historically against other winners of those prep races. So it's available on our website, lazybetterusa.com. If you sign up for our subscription service, the Racetrack Super Scout, you get a free electronic version of the Lazy Bettor's Guide to the Kentucky Derby for free. You'll also get our 2023 Kentucky Derby preview for free. So find out all the details at our website. On to the Florida Derby. Forte won the Florida Derby this year, cementing his spot as the early Kentucky Derby favorite. What can we say about Forte that you haven't heard before? Well, how about we see him as unlikely to win the Kentucky Derby? Let's watch the race and I'll explain why. He's breaking from post 11. He breaks cleanly but not quickly. Arad Ortiz is there in the dark green silks. He moves him towards the inside, gets a decent spot to save ground. The pace in front of him is quick, so the race is setting up well for a deep closer like Forte. And he kind of holds his position towards the back of the pack all the way through the backstretch. He's back there with Mage. As the horses leave the backstretch, enter the far turn, you'll see Forte slowly gaining ground outside of horses. But then he seems to stall briefly as number 4 Mage makes a huge move to Forte's outside. I think that hesitation is significant. I'll tell you why in a moment. Forte has a long, powerful stride and seems to prefer running room. As soon as Mage blazes on by, then Forte picks up the pace again. And you'll see that as he attempts to follow Mage. Mage gets a quick jump on him there as they go through the turn. So as they enter the stretch, it looks like Forte is struggling as he moves to the outside, but it's really a case of Mage continuing to finish strongly. Both horses finished the final eighth of a mile in just over 12 seconds, which is very impressive on both their parts. But here are 3 reasons why I see Forte as vulnerable. Number 1, Forte hates a crowd. I think that hesitation on the turn kind of indicates that, but there's more evidence than that. Arad Ortiz's jockey loves to drift in and intimidate horses to his inside in the stretch run. It's a signature move of his. He's been criticized widely for being too aggressive in doing that. But when he did that with Forte last year in the Breeders' Futurity, he almost lost to Loggins, who was a very inexperienced horse. I believe Loggins was only making his second start. And he just lost by a nose to Forte. So it looked like Forte hung there in that race when he was asked to kind of crowd a horse. Since then, Arad has not tried that move again. He has kept Forte wide in all of his victories since that race. Reason number 2, I don't think Forte will win the Kentucky Derby. The Florida Derby time was nothing special. It was only the 13th best winning time in the past 24 years. Unless the early pace is blazing fast, a deep closer must be clearly faster than his rivals. Forte is not, so he's got a problem there too with his actual speed as measured by final time. Reason number 3, we think that Forte will not win the Kentucky Derby. He gains momentum slowly. He cannot stop or slow and then immediately snap back to his high rate of speed. In my book, The Lazy Bettor's Guide to the Kentucky Derby, I cite several examples of these types coming up a little short in the Derby because their momentum got interrupted. As I say in the book, on a crowded highway, would you rather bet on the motorcycle or the bus? You saw it play out in 1993, just to give a few examples, with Sea Hero. Sea Hero had the early speed and the ability to start quickly, whereas Prairie Bayou and Wild Gale were the deep closers in that race, who were highly regarded, especially Prairie Bayou. And if you watch that race, they're all towards the back of the pack at approximately the same amount of distance behind the leader. And they all start their rallies about the same time. The Sea Hero is able to basically start on a dime when asked. He gets a jump on all of them, kind of like Mage did in the Florida Derby there with Forte. Believe it's Wild Gale is kind of a grinder. He goes to the outside for running room. Prairie Bayou gets stuck behind horses, and as they go to the wire, Prairie Bayou's making up a lot of ground, but Sea Hero got the jump and got the win in that race. You also see it in 2000, Fusaichi Pegasus, who was at the back of the pack with Aptitude. They both started their rallies about the same time. Fusaichi started quicker, finished quicker, and Aptitude was only able to get up for second. So, and those aren't the only two examples. This is a rule of thumb. The quicker horse tends to get to the wire first in the Kentucky Derby. There are exceptions, like Street Sense was kind of a late closing grinder. He managed to get the job done in 2009. But he's the exception. You don't see it happen very often. Rich Strike got it done last year as a deep closer, but that was an unusually fast pace, and that's what Forte would need to see here to get up. So he's a very talented horse. He's got a tremendous late closing ability if he gets room. So we look forward to seeing some exciting victories from Forte later this year, but we won't be betting him in the Kentucky Derby. Hey, if you like these videos, click like, click subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'm Roger LeBlanc. Good luck in the Kentucky Derby.